Hey everybody, it's Fran Harris and welcome to a video tutorial where I'm going to show you how to record a podcast. Now, a podcast is nothing more than an audio or video recording that you stream, that you promote, that you syndicate online. Choose any word you want. It's literally just audio or video that is syndicated online. So to create a podcast, you first have to start with your source, which will either be audio or video. So we're going to start with audio. So I use a system called Audio Acrobat, which you can check out at frantv, as in frantv.audioacrobat.com. frantv.audioacrobat.com. And when you get into the system, it will look just like this. So I'm going to create, since the podcast has to start with audio or video, and I'm using audio, I'm going to create audio. So I'm going to go to audio, and you'll see here from the top, it says create a new audio. And what's important on this page is that you can create audio in a couple of ways. You can record stuff by phone. If you have Audio Acrobat, you actually get your personal phone numbers that you can record, call up and record on your line. You can record audio web recorder, which literally that's what I'm going to do because it's the easiest way to start podcasting. Or you can upload audio that you've already done. So let's talk about this real quickly because some of you may want to do this. The fastest way to actually get going is if you have, let's say, a speech or a class you've taught, or you just have your opinion on your passion, then you can record that and upload it here, and then you can use that source audio for your podcast. But let's say you've never created a podcast before, you don't have a clue about how to record audio on your computer, and that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to record by computer microphone. So we click on recording with your PC microphone. We're going to scroll down. This is a similar interface that you will see, and we're going to say allow. We're going to click begin to start recording. We're going to go to record, and let's say I'm basically doing a how-to on podcasting, so I'm going to start recording. Hey, this is Fran Harris, and I'm doing a couple of tutorials on how to get started in podcasting. So today I'm talking about how to go from square 1 to square 15 to set up your podcast so that people who've never podcasted before can get online, create audio, and start to not only spread their message, whatever that is, but make money if they want to, which we'll talk about in a future tutorial. So we stop. All right. We're going to do practice audio. We're going to say Fran practices. You can come down here and click save. Notice that it's just 23 seconds and 23 seconds. Save that. Now what Audio Acrobat is going to do now is it's going to take you to a page where it is going to put the audio that you just created into a queue. You can see all my other audio. I've got thousands of audio in my system. You can see practice audio, and it's saying that it's ready to encode. All right. So while it's doing that, you should get ready to go to the next page. What I usually do, since this is short audio, I usually click on that, and it'll take you to a place where it shows you that the audio is still there. And if you want to view the audio, it may or may not be ready, but you can click on that, and let's see if it's ready. Hey, this is Fran Harris, and I'm doing a couple of tutorials on how to get started in podcasting. So today I'm talking about how to... All right, so we know that's working. All right, so now we've created the audio that we want to use for our podcast, right? So we're going to go back to podcast now. Click on podcast. You can see some of the podcasts that I have. And we're going to create a new podcast. So we're going to type in, what do we call this? Practice. You just can call it practice. So if you'll notice here, a valid name cannot have any spaces or anything like that. So let's just keep it simple and go practice. So we're going to say practice again. We're going to say practice again. We're going to choose file for the audio, for the artwork. And in fact, I'm going to cancel this, and I'm just going to use the default image for my artwork. So we're going to click on that just so it says I don't feel like going through all that. We're going to leave all this default stuff here. We're going to pick a genre, arts and entertainment. And we're going to put in just my plain website just for simplicity's sake. We're not going to do it the copyright, but you should do that when you put yours. Okay, so I'll do it. 2007, Fran Harris Enterprises. We'll see. Email, info@Fran Harris. We want to syndicate this podcast, and we're going to save it. And there you go. So now, just as it was 5 minutes ago, now the podcast is listed in your podcast list, and you've created a podcast, but the last part is that you have to actually add the audio. Okay, so we're going to click on your practice. Now, we're going to go to, you see View Post, Edit Podcast. We're going to go to Edit Podcast because, as you can see down here, it says you either have no post or no post have matched your criteria. So we're going to create, we're actually going to add a post. So we're going to click here to create a new post. Now you bring up your interface. If you listen to my other video tutorials, and you know that this is a feed for your podcast. Now we're going to select the audio that you want to be associated with practice. You come here, and there is the practice audio. We're not doing video, so you leave that blank. We're going to say practice. Practice. Of course, you would put real information in here. We're just practicing though. Save your changes. And the system is reading everything right now. And you have just created a podcast. So we're going to listen to make sure it got in there. Hey, this is Fran Harris, and I'm doing a couple of tutorials on how to get started in podcasting. Bam! You have created a podcast. And this is the feed that you would put in, let's say if you wanted to submit this podcast to iTunes, which we will do in the next tutorial. So I'm Fran Harris. Check me out at franharris.com, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.